mine, someone who I've known since the beginning. A few months after I came by, we were doing a Torah class and someone walks in. And since then, as they say, the rest is history. Became a very close friend with Noam. Noam, you may have seen on your program guide, but I'm sure none of you know how to pronounce the last name. It's Noam Ouaknine. He became a close friend, and the truth is, I'm humbled by his growth. Whether it's recently committing to him and Olga to keep kosher, and taking the steps to start keeping Shabbos, to be able to come to classes, continue learning, start putting on tefillin every day, and continuing working on praying. Recently, besides for the praying in the morning, he's going to be praying in the afternoon as well. And there's just a continued growth of knowledge and of action, and it is really beautiful to see. And it is my honor to call up to share a few words, Noam Ouaknine.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. So I wrote a speech. I hope you'll bear with me while I read through it. First of all, I want to thank you all so much for allowing me the honor to be here before you during our shared celebration. And Mazal Tov to Jerry and Vicky and to Renee for their well-deserved honor. And a special thank you to the mayor of Tamarac as well for joining us today. I found out a fun fact about Tamarac while I was researching. I'm sure this is something the mayor knows about already. Tamarac was named in the 1960s by a young millionaire who owned a chain of car wash centers called Car Amat. So Tamarac is just Car Amat spelled backwards. That's a true story, look it up. Maybe that's why so many retirees live in Tamarac. They're hoping time got reversed too. At least a town with a backwards name is more interesting than Dave from Davy. And we all agree it's better than Plantation. In all seriousness though, tonight is a special night, and I'd like to focus on how the Chabad movement has impacted me personally in the last 5 years. I met Rabbi Silverberg back in late 2017. I was looking for volunteering opportunities, and I called the local Chabad. And I figured religious people are always volunteering for stuff, so they'll have something for me. Surprisingly enough, they told me they didn't need any help, but they did recommend that I reach out to this new young rabbi in town, since he might have some opportunities for me. Somehow, that young rabbi convinced me to come in for Torah study instead of for volunteering. I still think that's a little odd, but it all worked out. Those were interesting lessons. I'm very much the type to question everything, and back then, his classes were small enough that I could still spend half the time arguing with him. Through those lessons, the rabbi became very used to me questioning everything. He always had a wise response, and even when he didn't have an answer for me. His standard response in those instances was, "That's above my pay grade." That kind of honest dialogue and the consistent encouragement to question everything was really helpful in allowing me to open up, to see past my deeply ingrained doubts about religion, and in turn to appreciate the beauty and the wisdom of the Torah and all the insights that have been distilled from it over thousands and thousands of years and even more generations. That's only the beginning of the impact that Chabad has had on my life. Right now, my beautiful wife Olga is going through the conversion process, and Chabad has been instrumental in helping us along the way to slowly navigate through the complexities of observance in daily life. She's been taking weekly lessons with Chabad Rebbitzin for over a year now, and she's become so knowledgeable that my own Moroccan Israeli family calls her our rabbi. And I've personally spent much time reading through the Chumash and committing myself to mitzvot in my day-to-day life, even small things like giving a speech to a Chabad audience, which I never in a million years thought that I would be doing. I'm definitely not as far along in my spiritual journey as many of you here today, but I am putting on tefillin and praying every day and keeping my faith close to heart. And I'm learning to appreciate life a lot more, to embrace the opportunities that are offered to me, even if I have doubts or I feel I may not be up to the challenge. I now take the view that God has given me this opportunity and wants me to expect more of myself. And the faith that I've gained through that process has also helped me personally with a lot of anxiety that I used to feel about the future. So I really thank faith for that. The most important thing I feel I have received through Chabad, though, is community. That's something I feel is all too lacking for too many of us here. And that realization hit me hardest this year when my father passed away after a long battle with cancer. I was so taken aback by the genuine concern and caring that we received from our Chabad community. And when my dad suffered cardiac arrest, the rabbi himself came to the hospital that night, came to his hospital bed in West Boca Medical. And he gave my family so much strength that night, and he stayed and recited the Vidui with us. And as my father's condition declined, the rabbi was a constant presence, checking in every day and providing support and guidance. And after my father passed away, so many people from the community reached out to offer condolences. Many even came to attend my father's funeral despite not having met him. And they were just there, they came to participate in the Shiva, and they were just there to support me and my family. And my mother's neighborhood was no different. The local Chabad of West Boca heard what happened, and they organized for strangers to come every single day to make sure that we had a minyan for Kaddish in my mother's home, and to drop off homemade meals, enough to feed a platoon. Rabbi Bookit of the same Chabad even led the funeral proceedings. Everyone was so warm and kind to my family in their darkest and lowest moment. I can't even begin to explain how much that helped us through that time, and how deeply it touched me and made me realize how many just genuinely good people are all around us. My mother cried so many tears of joy and appreciation at that outpouring of love. It changed everything about that experience for the positive. I'm limited in time, or else there's many, many more stories that I could go into of the compassion and kindness that we experienced during that time. But looking forward, Olga and I are praying for our own Jewish family soon, Be'ezrat Hashem, and I am truly glad to know that Chabad is putting in the hard work of going door to door, looking for mezuzah, reaching out to us on an individual basis, and building that Jewish community for us and for our future children. It's hard work, but it's necessary and it's so crucial. For many people, the only reason they'll ever attend those Friday night meals and those Jewish holiday celebrations and feel a sense of belonging and connection to their Jewish roots and to their Jewish neighbors is because of programs like Chabad's outreach efforts. That's why I personally proudly donate to Chabad of Tamarac, and I never have to wonder if my money is going to a good cause. And maybe I'll also feel a little less guilty for not being in shul more often. In a nutshell, the Chabad movement has been incredible to me, and the Jewish communities that spring up around each Chabad branch are nothing short of life-changing for many people, and I speak from experience. So that's my story for tonight. I just want to sincerely thank everyone here for listening, and even more for just being here for a good cause. So I appreciate you all, thank you all, and thank you to Rabbi and